Today, if you are a follower of the news about what happens in the world, a day hardly passes without one or all of the following names being mentioned in the news bulletins of the major TV and radio channels and other news outlets. Number one is John Donald Trump, who we know as the current president of the United States of America. The second one is Benjamin Netanyahu, the man who is the prime minister of Israel, and who, in my view, is a kind of bloodthirsty man who probably would want to see all the Palestinians, young and old, wiped off the face of the earth. I wonder what he gains from that. The third man is Elon Musk, a very wealthy man who, the last time I checked, held the first position in terms of being wealthy. I'm not sure whether he still holds that position. Next is Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin, who is the president of Russia and is also responsible for the thousands of lives that have been lost in the country of Ukraine. Last but not the least is Pope Leo XIV, who is the head of the World Catholic Community, but also doubles as the political head of the Vatican. I've been asking myself, why do these men dominate the news? First and foremost, I think it's because of the power they wield, the power they possess. And secondly, these men are rich, and the wealth they possess and influence causes them to be talked about day in and day out. I have been asking myself, yes, these people are powerful, they are wealthy, but are they also honorable? What does it take for someone to be honorable? I have been asking myself. Because some of these men have unleashed terror and untold suffering on a big section of humanity. And I think this disqualifies them as honorable men. And in search for the answer to the question, what does it take to be honorable, I was led to the Bible in the book of 1 Kings chapter 3, where one of the wisest and richest and most honored men in history is described. And this is none other than King Solomon. I was interested in finding out how he achieved this status so that I could borrow a riff and maybe share with my colleagues in the leadership positions. When King Solomon was made king, God tasked him to ask anything that he wanted, which I think was a very tricky question, and it could be very tricky for us even today. Interestingly, Solomon did not beat about the bush. He did not think twice. He simply said what he thought was the most important thing in this new position that he had occupied. Solomon did not ask for wealth. He did not ask for honor. Though I know these are the major motivating factors for people seeking leadership positions in our day. And I think it must have been the case in Solomon's day. But he did not ask for these things. Further, Solomon did not ask for long life. Neither did he ask for the death of his enemies. He simply asked for one thing: discernment and understanding in administering justice. He asked for wisdom. Oh, what a man! I wonder what many political leaders in our day ask for when they get into those leadership positions. I think they would do better to consult Solomon so that they also ask for what he asked and they become as he became: honored, wealthy, rich. And I think if they did, this world would be a better place. This world would be a happier place. But what do they do when they get into these leadership positions? Of course, this is not to say that Solomon did not want wealth. Of course, he did, like many of us do. But he knew a principle that many of us don't know or ignore. He knew that you cannot become wealthy by asking for wealth. No. You don't pursue wealth. You don't run after it. Rather, he knew that you become wealthy by attracting wealth, by becoming the person who attracts wealth. So that means you have to change. If you lack financial discipline, for example, it doesn't matter how much money they give you. It will slip through your hands and you will remain poor. And you start blaming the government and every other person you can find. Because without financial discipline, you will get more money and you spend it on things you do not need to impress people that do not even care, as someone put it some time back. So, this calls for wisdom, and this is why Solomon had to ask for wisdom. It's not true that Solomon did not want long life. He did, like many of us do. But he knew one principle, that you cannot get long life by simply asking for it. You had to become someone who is worthy of a long life. You have to eat properly. You have to avoid drinking alcohol. You have to do exercise. You have to drink enough water. You have to have enough rest, and so on and so forth. And when you do that, long life happens naturally. You don't have to ask for it. It will automatically happen. And if you are lucky and you get that long life without doing what I have talked about above, you will have that long life which is a miserable long life, because many of the times you'll be sick, complaining, and so on and so forth. And yet, this was your fault. Finally, Solomon, it's not true that Solomon, like many of us, did not want honor. He also loved it. But he also knew that you cannot get honor by simply requesting for it. Again, you had to become someone who is worthy of being honored. What does that mean? If you are a husband, you don't get honored by your wife by asking them to honor you, to respect you. No, you have to become someone who is worthy of respect. You don't ask your children to respect you as a father. You have to become someone who is worthy of being honored. Become someone who attracts honor. You don't have to pursue it. Otherwise, the more you pursue it, the more it will run away. This also is a principle that can help young men, the young girls who are looking for men. You don't get a marriage partner by running after men. No. Become someone to whom men are attracted to. Go to school, get a qualification. Work on your behavior. Work on your appearance. Become valuable. And men will come to you in numbers without you struggling to invite them or force yourself on them. And I see this principle applies in every aspect of life, applying to everything that we would want to achieve in life. So take heed.